And I like to take this opportunity to welcome our two speakers for this lab session. It's none other than Gayathiri and Kavin, who is from CTS, who's having a great experience in performance test analysis, and they have been doing this multiple times in multiple various sessions as well. We're happy to have you here, Gayathiri and Kavin. So they will be going to present this lab session on testing in DevOps environment. You can also refer to them and more about them in the link over here. So this is about Gayathiri and this is about Kavin. Over to you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Arvind. Good afternoon, guys. I'm Gayathiri from Cognizant Technology Solutions. I would like to welcome all you to the workshop on automated accessibility testing on DevOps. Today, we are going to see about a demo on how to integrate Pali into CI/CD pipeline. Kavin, can you please share the slide?
Yeah, sure, Gayathiri. I'll take it. Okay, are you able to see? I have shared it.
Not it.
Not it.
Actually, I have shared it.
It's not visible.
Can you unshare and share try again, Kavin?
Yeah, I tried it. Let me do it again. Gayathiri, like I'm sharing only. I'm not sure what is the issue. So meanwhile, I see that is it possible for you to share and continue?
Yeah, sure, Kavin, I'll do that.
Gayathiri, your screen is visible now.
Yeah, thank you, Arvind. Yeah, in this session, we are going to see about a demo on how to integrate Pali into CI/CD pipeline. Before starting our demo, I would like to know whether you all have installed the prerequisite in your machine. If not, please go ahead and install the prerequisite in your machine. And we would request you to follow up the session and do the same in your machine, and let us know if you have any queries. Post it in team chat on Slido so that we can get it solved. Accessibility testing is a part of non-functional testing. Nowadays, in most of the projects where performance testing is implemented, they have mandated accessibility testing also as a best practice. And accessibility testing is getting importance these days. Best practice to do accessibility testing is to integrate the automated accessibility testing into CI/CD pipeline. Because in last minute or due to stringent project timeline, we may miss out this accessibility testing. So in this workshop, we are going to see about a tool called Pali, which is an automated accessibility checker, and it is an open source tool, and it can be easily integrated into CI/CD pipeline. This tool can be invoked in two ways. The first way is through command line, and the second way is through Node.js. Pali, as I told you, it is an open source tool and it supports most commonly used accessibility standards such as 508, A, EE, and AAA. It supports two test engines, and these test engines are widely used test engines for accessibility testing. They are Axe, and another one is HTML code sniffer. We can choose the test standards and test engines based on our test requirements. There are many components available in the Pali. We have listed down the frequently used components, and these components can be seen in our demo. In our demo, we have used this Pali CA. This Pali CA is used to test multiple web pages, and it is also helpful in integrating the Pali with CI/CD pipeline. Moving on to next slide.
Can you have it in a presentation mode? Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I guess this is in read only. Okay, I'll switch over to the slide. Can you tell me like how to go to presentation mode?
In the bottom of it, where you could see Zoom, right? Before that, yeah.
Yeah. So the next comes a automated accessibility testing CI/CD framework. I'll tell you like what framework we have used in our workshop. So initially, when a code commit is done in GitHub, the code commit can be done either in the two ways. The first one is the code deployment, which is done by the development team, and the second one is the Pali CI file update, which is done by the testing team. In our case, we have used a sitemap.xml. It is a file which is generated by sitemap. I'll tell you what is sitemap. Sitemap is nothing but it will crawl the website, and it will list down the web pages or URLs, whatever that is present in the website. So the sitemap.xml will have the list of web pages or URLs that needs to be tested, and we have to copy this sitemap.xml into the pali.ci file either manually or by using an utility, and this pali.ci file act as an input. So whenever we have placed the pali.ci file in our GitHub, the build will be triggered in the Jenkins, and the Jenkins will invoke the Pali. This Pali will test the website with the accessibility standards, whatever we have defined, and it will generate a report. The generated report will be in a JSON format. This is how our framework works. The next is the CI/CD pipeline using Jenkins and Pali. So this is a detailed part, like how we have how you have integrated the Pali, sitemap, and Git. We will be seeing this in the demo. And the next one is the Pali CI file. Here you can see this is a Pali CI file. Here you can see the URL section, in which we have defined the URL here. This is the URL which needs to be tested, and we can define the standards and test engines within the URL sections. If we define any URL outside this braces, this particular URL will be tested against the default testing standards. So this Pali CI file is the input file, and this is this can be generated using the sitemap.xml. And these are the Pali commands which we have used, and this will also will be covered in our demo session. And this is the Pali reporters. As I said earlier, the report will be generated in JSON format. So we have used a Pali reporter HTML command to convert into HTML mode. Kavin, can you please take over? And I'll share you the commands, whatever commands we have used in Jenkins, and the other commands which we use to check whether the Node.js or NPM is installed, or how to invoke Jenkins. All those commands I'll be sharing in the team chat. I request all you all to check on this command and use the same in your machine, and let us know if you face any difficulties or if you have any queries. Please feel free to reach to us. Kavin, you can go ahead and proceed with your demo session.
Sure. Yeah, Sanjeev. So I'm not able to see my share icon actually. So I think you need to make me presenter.
One second. You are presenter. Kavin, you are a presenter now. Please go ahead. Kavin, you are in mute.
Okay. So are you able to see my screen now? I have restarted that.
Yep, we are able to see.
Great. Okay. So I'll start from where Gayathiri has left. Okay. So this is going to be the like a short framework what we are going to demonstrate now. So our input would be a pipeline script, which will be pushed to GitHub, and once that is pushed to Git, automatically our framework starts gets kickstarted from Jenkins. Okay. Let me start with the demo. Okay. Okay, so the prerequisite for starting the framework would be having a test scenario file. So the test scenario file is nothing but the list of URLs needs to be tested. So as Gayathiri said, we would be like generating the sitemap from the sitemap generator, and we would be copy pasting our URLs to the scenario files. And in this scenario file, we would be defining what is the accessibility standard against which we need to test our application with, and what is the test runner we can use, whether it can be Axe or HTML code snippet. And as you guys know, Axe is one of the most widely used test engines for accessibility testing. So once this scenario file is pushed into Git, automatically the Jenkins pipeline job would be triggered. So we'll go and see the steps in Jenkins. So before that, we need to install certain npm components for installing Pali. Okay, so these are the these are the different components we need to install for starting up with Pali, because Pali is the framework, the tool or which will do the accessibility testing for us. So the first step would be installing the sitemapgenerator.cli. So what happens is the sitemap generator, it's installed, and if we give the URL of our of our application, say it is going to be www.gtrtestingconference.com, then automatically all the URLs would be taken. Okay, let me show you a demo of that. So after installing sitemap generator, I'm going to execute that. So the syntax would be like the sitemap generator space the website which we need to test. So if I execute that, then automatically in the test folder, say if it is going to be my C users, if I go and see there, my sitemap would be generated. So this what the sitemap generator does is it automatically crawls through the website, the home page, and it takes all the URLs and generates a sitemap out of that. So now we need to copy this sitemaps, the list of URLs which we need to test, and we need to put in our test scenario file. So the second step should be installing Pali. So to install Pali, we are going to use again the Node package manager. So I'm going to install through npm. So it will be npm install Pali. So Pali has two variations. One is Pali and another one is Pali CI. So what Pali CI does is, like, Pali CI is the component which execute multiple URLs in pipeline, whereas Pali can execute only one URL. So I have installed both Pali now. If anyone is trying out, you guys also can install these npm commands and install Pali to these npm commands. So after installing Pali, now let's I'll show you how that Pali works. So the syntax would be PaliCI hyphen the format of the report which we need to put up the results and the name of the file. Okay, so PaliCI supports JSON and like text formats. It doesn't support HTML formats actually. So now if I execute this command, it will automatically crawl Pali throughout the URLs which are present inside this .palici file. So we need to paste this palici file inside the folder where we are executing. Say if I'm executing from my user folder, I need to put that palici file here. So it would be palici file would be here, and also the reports would be exported here. So it's still executing. So once it is done, we can go here and see the PaliCI results. So the PaliCI results would be in JSON format, as I said, and it is not in a human. I mean, it's a readable format, but it's not a pretty presentable format. So for this, we are going with the PaliCI reporter component. So this PaliCI reporter, what it does is it takes the currently published JSON file, and what it does is it converts that into HTML. So if I'm going to I'm going to install that first, and after that I'm just going to execute that command. Okay, so this Pali reporter HTML, it doesn't need any arguments. We can simply call it out and it will convert all the JSON files in the current format folder to HTML. So after executing that, if we go and see that folder, we can see an index.html. If we click that index.html, we can see the list of URLs which it crawled and what are the accessibility testing results for that. So this website is a dummy website actually, so it's not showing much results. In our demo, we'll see much meaningful website. Okay. So now this being these three are the components which we need to be execute from Jenkins. Now let's go to Jenkins. Okay. So in Jenkins, we need not have any prerequisites here. I think by default we would be having our Git and other components installed, and also the email plugins. Everything will be coming as pre-installed once we install Jenkins. So we'll be directly going to a building a new project. So I'm going to click a new project. It would be going to be a freestyle. Okay. So I'm going to click freestyle and I'm going to create the project. Okay. So the first step, so the demo which I showed you, that was in my local machine, whereas in real time we are going to do it from Git. So the first step would be like connecting it through to Git. So in the source code management, I'm clicking Git and I'm going to give my Git repository URL. So this is my Git repository in which I have uploaded my test scenario file, which is the PaliCI file, which contains a list of URLs. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy my Git repository URL and I'm going to paste it here. And I'm going to add my Git credentials here. So once added, it will be automatically connecting to Git repository and downloading the PaliCI input file. Okay. And the next step would be like which branch it need to pull from Git. It would be the master branch. And now going to the build execution of build steps. So now what I'm going to do is like I'm going to add build steps. So in which I would be executing the different npm commands which I just showed you manually. So I'm going to click the execute Windows batch command, in which I'm going to put the first command, which is the Sitemapgenerator. Or I'll put another website. what does the third command does that HTML one? So the third command, it converts the JSON file format of the Pali CA. The Pali CA reports in JSON format. So if you see that, it would be something like this. The entire results, entire violations, what are the rule breaches it has did, everything would be coming in a JSON file format. To convert that into a readable format, something like this. What to say? Yeah, to something like this. The third command is used. Now it's in a HTML report format. Each and every URL would be listing out as different URLs, and if we click that, the individual errors would be shown for each and every element separately. Okay. So now moving to the Jenkins again. Okay, so I'm going to give. Okay, so in the Sitemapgenerator, I have given the URL, and I'm going to add another build step in which I'm going to execute the next command with the timeout, because I would would be giving 1 or 2 minutes time for the previous command to execute and put the results. Now I'm going to put the second command, which would be like okay. So the main command would be the Pali CA. This command actually, just to make it more meaningful and to understand which command is running. So I have given like the time, and also have given a print statement to like the command started. So but the main invocation command here is would be the Pali CA results. Shall we give all standards as everyone would be want? Okay, so yes, we can give multiple standards also. So what we can do is like here it can be either WCAG 2A, 2AA, or 2AAA. If we want different standards to be given to different URLs, then what we need to do is inside this URL itself, I mean the second section, URL section, we need to create another section in which I need to give individual URLs and that is standard. Say whatever thing I'm giving outside in the global section, the default section, that would operate all the URL. And if I want different if I want different URLs to be validated with different guidelines, then I can just simply put a separate function inside the URLs, and I can put like this. Now the home page, the www.bluecrossnc.com, that will be executed only against WCAG 2A, and rest would be against AAA. I mean all standards. So all the standards cannot be like tested together. If you want to test all the standards, then again you can follow this format. Like you can put something like this, and you can again put the same URL inside another standard. So this is how you need to put. In the default, we cannot put all the 3 standards. Only specifically we can put. Okay, so hope this answers your question. Now coming to the demo again. So in the first build command, the first build step, it would be the generating the sitemap, the list of URLs, and the second would be like, we need to manually copy the list of URLs to our input file, which is the test scenario file again, which we just saw. And then the second command would be the Pali CA, which invokes that input file. So what happens is, since we have connected to Git, the input file would be directly downloaded from Git to the Jenkins box, and from there it would be executed. Then I'm going to add another build step with timeout, in which I'm going to execute the Pali reporter command. So what this does is, this will simply do the JSON to HTML file conversion. So after that, okay, now we are done with the execution and conversion to HTML report. So now we need to push it back to the Git repository. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another build step, which would commit this to GitHub. So what I'm going to do is like, okay. So I have given my user ID and my username here. So what will happen is like, like once the reports are generated, this command will be validating it against the Git, and if in case of any new files found, it will commit to Git. Okay, so now we are done with the build step executions. Okay, now we are going to do the post build actions. So what is the post build actions? We need to like we have connected to Git and committed. Now we need to upload our HTML files, and also we can have an option to send the results over email, right? That's the basic thing of a CI/CD. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the Git publisher plugin, in which I'm going to do like push the documents only if the build is successful. So once the build is successful, you can see like all the result files in HTML format would be uploaded to the Git page. Okay, so now I'm going to add the branch where I need to push it. So I'm going to put it against the main branch, origin of the root of the main branch. Okay, I think for me it's master. Okay. So after that, I'm going to add another post build action in which I'm going to add email notification. So here, okay, let me open Jenkins and another URL. Okay, so initially in Jenkins, manage Jenkins, I'm going to configure the system variables, and I'm going to add Google's SMTP. I mean, maybe if you are going to use a company's Outlook, then you can configure that SMTP server there. For demo purpose, I'm going to show Google. So I'm going to add Google's SMTP server and port details here. So if you go to the manage Jenkins and configuration, please share these Jenkins commands as well. Yeah, sure. So if you come here, I have given the SMTP server of Google Gmail here. This is the place where we need to give our Outlook server details and the port details. And I'm also adding the default recipient. So to whatever recipients we need to send out the results, the developers or project team, we need to add it here. So now coming to here, so these are the default recipients should be there in the configuration. So we can simply leave this part as it is. And here I'm going to attach my results. So now all my results are in HTML format. So I'm just uploading all the HTML files. Okay. So now we are done with our all the pipeline setup. So let me just quickly go through it again. I'm connecting to the Git using my credentials. I'm going to download my test scenario file, and I'm going to generate the sitemap, and I'm going to take the URLs and put it over the scenario file input. Then I'm going to execute the scenario file through this command. So you can see like I have put an exit 0 command here. So why, while executing manually, I didn't put that. So why this exit 0 is like, say now we are going to execute an accessibility test, and there would be there are high chances there would be a term called error. So whenever a console output returns error, Jenkins used to fail the build. So to ignore that error, I have given this exit 0. So then I am converting that into HTML format. Then I am committing to Git, and I am publishing to Git, and then I am also sending out an email notification. Okay, so let me execute this. As it is showing some kind of like Git configuration issues here, I am executing the previous one, Pali. Let's quickly see whether it's the same settings or not here. So connected to Git, I have given like a timestamp to debug Sitemapgenerator. Okay. Okay, it's just HTML reports. Okay, and I also have an option to like attach the build log. So in the console output, we'll be having a detailed build log. So that would be helpful for us to debug since we have put some echo statements. So I am also attaching the build log. So now let me build this job Could you please steps put in on the could you please what is it? Should I repeat that? Okay. So what is the question here? Could you please steps reporting details from JSON to HTML result store? And I mean, do you want me to repeat the steps or something? Is there a typo?
Pooja, can you unmute and speak?
Yeah, so what I want the steps we have followed into the Jenkins.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I missed it. I mean, you want me to repeat the steps, or you want to put comments in? Oh, you want the Git comments to be put in the chat?
Yeah, maybe I connect with you later so I can get all the steps, the Windows batch command.
Sure. Okay. I'll just quickly explain that again, and I also post those Git comments in this chat.
Sure.
Okay.
Kavin, I have shared the commands also for Git.
Okay. Okay, then let me just quickly explain that. Like, so simply, it's like a default command. I'm just this git config takes a parameter either email or name. So I have given my see if this is my git, I have given my email and the name here, and I have added the command git add dot. So what it does is like it's just a commit statement. It just whatever it is like output we are getting out of our Pali executions, say it is going to be these kind of documents as an output, it will just commit to git. So we can see those documents here. I'll again paste these comments there as well. Now I think once if I execute that, and if you see the console output, you can understand that clearly. Okay, so now I think I have started the build. Let's go and see the console output. So what happens here? Okay, I think it's a big log. Let me explain. So I have started that, and it is building in my Jenkins workspace. So what happens is, like, say, assume my machine as a Jenkins box. So if we go to the in users and in .jenkins folder, we can see multiple folders here, which is nothing but my Jenkins configuration and other setup and project files. If I go inside this workspace, I can see all my Jenkins projects. So if I'm going to execute, I mean, all are same. Say if I'm going to execute this Pali, if I go and see here, this is the working directory now. So what happens is now it's building in my local machine as a Jenkins box, and it's connecting to Git. This is my Git repository. So to this Git repository, it gets connected, and it takes basically it syncs all the files in my Git folder to my local folder. And after that, it is going to be it is executing the sitemap generator, and it is executing the Pali CA here. As you can see, the command started, and again it is executing the Pali CA reporter. Let's go and see whether it has been updated with the recent timestamp. Okay, if you see the time, yeah, I think it's the current execution time. If you can see, it's 2:30. I mean, I'm in different time zone, so it's in 3 a.m. here. Okay, so if you see the index, this would be the root report summary, and from here I can get an understanding like which URL has how many errors and those kind of things, warnings. And if you want to have a deep insight on that, I'm going to click that, and I'm going to see what are the elements missing here. So basically these things would be a little very vast. So usually it makes sense to share the exact report to the developers. So that is the reason we are adding the email plugin. So like the entire HTML thing would be emailed to them as a report for their understanding. Okay, so now coming to the next steps. So again, it has connected to my Git, committed that, and it has uploaded all my HTML files. And let me refresh that. Actually, this was the last commit which happened before 5 years when I was doing a trial. Let me refresh that and see. you can see like it has been the most recent files has been pushed before 2 to 4 minutes. So we need not delete anything or something. It would simply replace the new files there. Okay, so now again coming to the console output. Okay, so all the HTML files have been uploaded, and after that, how we can explain this problem to the development team? Okay, we'll come to that at last. Okay, so now after that, it is triggering an email, sending an email, and it is in successful state now. Okay, so now if I go and see my Gmail, I can see the build successful email, and it has attached all the reports and also the build log for easy understanding. So this is how basically this works, and so now let's see how we can maybe understand the results. Okay, so actually these guidelines basically work in a way that it would be like explaining what is an issue with which particular URL. So if you come here, the problem is with this URL, the element in this URL. If you can see here, it's an image element. Okay, so the problem here is will be explained in the error. The image element missing an alt attribute. So as you know, every image should be given an alt statement. For example, if this is going to be an image for some maybe EC2 pixel, then we should have an alt attribute like image source equal to this URL, alt equal to that EC2 pixel to make understand what that image means, right? So basically this alt attribute is an primary thing. Not sure how this is being missed here. So now the developers can understand that the error is the image element is missing an alt attribute, and we need to use an alt attribute for this element. And this is the guideline number which it breaches as per WCAG2 standard. And if you go and see the next error, again here this element has insufficient contrast ratio. This is something with respect to the color combination. When a person with the vision disability, he sees if it is going to be a very like less contrast ratio, he can't understand. So that is one of the color guideline here. Again, it's like it is giving the tag an exact line which is breaching that guideline. Again, this is a contrast. This is a contrast. If you want to see any other errors, let's go to the index. Okay, what if a website has a login page? Can this page tool go inside? Okay, so this is what I was trying to say actually. So the pages which have a login forms and which maintains sessions, like say if I'm going to log in and if I'm going to do a reservation, if I'm maintaining a session, in that cases, if you directly fire that URL from command prompt, it won't work because it needs a browser to maintain the cache. So in that cases, mostly it would be did in a manual. So most of the accessibility testing would be done as a manual thing because of this concern. Say if we still want to make it an automated thing, even for websites which have logins and say they want the details to be carried from one page to the next page and they want a session to be maintained, then we have a tool called Axe. So as you can see, when I showed in the test scenario file, Pali uses the text engine of Axe actually. So basically, Axe is a tool. It's it's available in all the formats. Like if you see, Axe has a website in which we can directly go and test. Whatever we did in command line right now, right? We can do that in a website. I'm sorry, I pulled up the URL. Okay, and this Axe, this is available as an Chrome plugin. So what basically we need to do in such cases is, right? So it would be, when installed, it would be like this would be added as a tab to our developer tools, and we need to go to the page manually, and we need to hit refresh, or we need not do even hit refresh. If manually traverse the flow, if you see the developer tools, like by clicking the F12, you can see the same results there, and we can export that. Again, if you feel that is a manual work, that is not we need that to be automated, then what we need to do is the developers need to incorporate a call, but it is safe. Yeah, it's not sending anything to the service. It is something like Google Page Speed or Google Lighthouse, which basically runs the same concept. It just analyzes our HTML source code, and it publishes the results. So to answer your question, is it safe? Yeah, this is pretty much, it's safe, and it is the primary web accessibility tool in market right now. And to make it again automated without going and see manually in our developer tools a tab, what we need to do is, like the developers need to make a call to the particular page, or I'm sorry, to the particular library in this Axe, so that what I'm trying to say is, we need to incorporate the tool with the code itself to make it automated. So whenever we execute even our performance results, we can see these metrics. But the problem is, that is more or less like more developers won't be willing to take this additional overhead of adding this call to action in each and every page. So that is the reason mostly people will go with this plugin concept and this Jenkins concept. So 50% of web pages, almost all the web pages will be having this login concept, and for such things they do this manual testing. And for pages like what we just saw, let me show you that website. This is just on a simple healthcare website. So Pali is good for static. Yeah, Pali is good for static, and if we want to make it for dynamic, then we need to have some calls made from the developer code itself. Yeah. So now coming to this page, if you can see, it has a member login link here. But before that, it has many links. Almost 50 to 50, around 50 links, in which we need not have login to see certain things. So Pali finds this, and if you can see, this page is a very graphic rich page, and it has multiple sublinks also. And if I click whatever link, if I click, there would be multiple things listed out. And for such websites, Pali holds very good. And for pages which needs manual login, the accessibility team manually logs in and uses that Axe plugin and takes the results. That's how basically now they do. And again, we are, in our company, we are also having a framework in which this can be automated with adding a minimal amount of code to the development. To the code, if the development team wishes. Okay, so hope this answers, and I think I have covered almost all Pali can do. And if you want to test a single URL or something, also, I don't think that makes a sense, because it can even crawl multiple things. So let me conclude this actually. So as you said, the main benefit of this Pali could be static web pages. And does Pali and Axe serves the same purpose? Basically, yes. Pali actually uses Axe to publish its results. Axe cannot be invoked in pipeline like this, I think. So Axe has a website in which we need to give the URL and test, and Axe also have a plugin which I just showed you. So this Pali uses that Axe to make this run in a pipeline. So so the main benefit of this, see, most of the cases, after many code drops and many defect fixes before release, there would be times in which the performance test executions would be delayed, and either the resilience testing or the accessibility testing, mostly there would be a stringent timeline. So in that case, in order to skip those tests, if we have a basic test like this, it can help us in reducing time and at least get a high level results. Even though if we have a login page or something, most of the websites follow a common standards, in the website which I showed you right now, both the login pages and other pages will have the common elements. The UI look and feel mostly looks the same, just the content differs, right? So it still serves the purpose. So this is where Pali comes in handy, and with minimal setup, just by giving the URLs without much effort, we'll be just having a high level results where our application stands. So that is the basic and most important place where Pali comes into handy. So with this, I'll conclude my workshop. Do we call it Pali as it LL look like 11? Okay, so I'm just pronouncing it as Pali, and people pronounce it as Pali. Actually, it is PA11Y.
Wow.
Any other questions?
Yes, we have 20 more minutes. You guys, and please feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions. And if you have tried to reproduce the same what Kavin was presenting to us, please ask questions to Kavin and Gayathiri.
Okay, so does Pali can help in testing system desktop apps as well? No, so this is for websites, and for system and desktop apps, we have other tools for accessibility testing. NVDA, JAWS, and other such tools are there. Screen reading tools. Basically, they call it as screen reading tools. Don't they have any library which we can call via code? Yeah, so Pali don't have any library, but Axe has that library which we can call via code, and that's what I was telling. To call it via code, we need to give that Axe calls to the devs, and we need to make a simple addition of that to the pages. Something from Selenium code. Yeah, that is also available. I can share you some YouTube links in which through Selenium codes and also through Axe plugins, Axe code library, they are calling it in application code. Post this session, I can also share that.
Yeah, Kavin, sorry to interrupt. This Axe can be invoked in 3 ways. The first one is Chrome extension, which Kavin showed you in screen sharing. And the second one is through Selenium, and third one is through newly released Axe CI. So this Chrome extension is easy. It is nothing but we can add that particular extension to your Chrome browser, and we can see it in the developer tools. And the second one is the Selenium. And this Chrome extension is useful only when we have only few pages to test, or we don't have any completed automated accessibility test cases. We can use this Chrome extension. We can use the option DevTools, Axe tab, and Analyst button, and this will work. And in Results tab, the recommendation will be highlighted. The most critical ones will be highlighted that you can see in the Chrome extension. And the Selenium one, for invoking it via Selenium, we have to make the changes in the JSON code that we don't, the testers will not be having access. We have to reach the development team to make the changes in the index.json file, and we have couple of other files as well. And the third one is the Axe CLI. For that, we have to install it, and we can use it in the command. We can invoke this in the command line as well. Yeah, that's it for Axe. This can be invoked in 3 ways.
Hello, this is Anurag. I have a question.
Yeah, Anurag. Yeah, go ahead.
The text file that was being edited during the demo, like what was the purpose of that text file?
Okay, let me take this question, Gayathiri. That
Yeah,
test
sure.
file, that test file is simple. I mean, if we can call it as a scenario file or something like a script file in performance testing terms. So that test file contains the list of URLs to be tested, and also like what is the standards against it needs to be tested, and what is the test runner like Axe runner or HTML code sniffer, like which test runner engine I need to validate that. And also it can also be complicated still further, like by adding details like width and height, like the particular frame within which it needs to test, and also like the timeout. If the page is not getting loaded for a particular time, what is the timeout we need to stop the test? So those kind of it can be called as a scenario file or test design file. So that serves as an input for this Pali actually.
So like we can test multiple URLs simultaneously with that file.
Yes. So basically Pali is to test single URLs, whereas the Pali CA is to test multiple URLs. So now we are I have shown you Pali CA. So like to use Pali, we don't need this Pali CA input file. We just can give the URL in the command line itself. Whereas to test multiple URLs, we need this scenario file in which we will be listing out this in this file.
Okay. And all these results can be like seen together in Jenkins.
Yes. In the console output, like we can see the things, and also in the in the Jenkins in the particular workspace, we can see the files of this project, and they can also be shared over email. All the test resources would be in Jenkins box.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Can you show how we can done when we don't want any Jenkins? So that's what right. I told you. I mean, I was showing that only before I showed in Jenkins. Without Jenkins, like we'll be just executing these commands directly in our command prompt. I think I showed that as a demo before starting with Jenkins. I need to do the sitemap command, and then the palic command, and that HTML report command.
Okay, so with those three commands, it will be done.
It will be done, and we can go to the folder in which we executed, and we can directly take the results and analyze and share it across.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So like we'll note your ID. I mean ID, and we'll answer. I mean we'll share any resources we have related to this, Ajay.
So can you please post if there are some generic links on the chat itself?
I have to search and input, because let me search some good blogs regarding this. But basically, to a good point to start with this, the Pali GitHub page directly. If you search as Pali Git page, and it will directly go to the Git page where Pali is hosted, and it would have all the references. If you want any other links, I can search and send you. As of now, let me put the Pali Git in the.
Okay.
Okay, I have put that. Any channel Maven repository. Yeah. So now I have given the Git, right? So this is the Git repository in which I mean, like when we give an npm install, it's from this Git repository it would be installed. So it's a developing tool. Someone, if they are good with automation and good in integrating it with code, as someone has asked earlier, this can also be used to do testing for dynamic web pages also using Axe test runner. Can you share your LinkedIn profiles? Would love to connect. Yeah, sure. We'll put up here. Okay. So anything else, guys? Okay. So I think to conclude that Git page will be a good place to start with. So Pali doesn't have this only one component, so they keep on building it. Pali has multiple components like Pali. I mean, we saw Pali C and Pali reporters, right? So they also have a Pali dashboard in which we can see the monitor the test results in a real time. It has a Pali web service. That Pali web service is the one which can be which is the one which I think which could be used for testing dynamic web pages. Basically, whatever this Pali and Axe does, they covers like almost half of the guidelines. So most of the remaining half of the guidelines as per accessibility guidelines, they usually needs manual intervention. So that is the reason always it's best to combine both manual and automated approach for accessibility testing. So this Pali and Axe could be the places which you can start with the accessibility testing experiments. Okay. So okay, Sanjeev, I'm done with that. So if we are good, then we can wind up the session, Sanjeev.
Thank you, guys. Hope there is any questions, guys, feel free to unmute and ask. If there is no questions, we can wind up the session. Any last question? Okay, all good.
Okay. So thanks.
Thank
Like
you.
it was.
Thank you, Kavin and Gayathiri. It was a great session, and you managed to put in well the questions and also help the participants to understand better. It was a great session, and you explained it very well, and it was very great session indeed. So thank you once again on behalf of ATA and our sponsors and our attendees. Thank you, Gayathiri and Kavin.
Yeah, thank you, Arasu, for giving us the opportunity.